You're watching It's Life with your hosts, Juan Lee and Oliver Marcel. Come join us for enriching, enlightening, encouraging, and thought-provoking conversation. Let's go. What's up, everybody?
Well, hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome. Hey, guess what? We got Oliver here. Oliver's here. Hey, and guess what? And we have no guests tonight. So it's going to be just Oliver and I. It's going to bring back old times.
Yes, indeed.
Old times. But hey, if you're here for the first time, welcome to Clear Journey's podcast called It's Life. We are about providing resources and education and a mindset for success in all areas of your life. And we want to welcome you here to It's Life. If you have not been here before, welcome to the community. If there's something that you like, please give us a like button, a thumbs up, and subscribe to our website and our YouTube channel. Now, our website has been revamped. So by all means, we want you to go over and check out our website at clearjourney.org and tell us what you think. If it's something over there that you like, let us know. Join a part of the community. Join the community over there. Keep in touch with us over there. Also, I'm the founder of Clear Journey, and I am the author of a book called Love Made Simple, The Guide to Inner Peace, Contentment, and Success, which is the foundation of Clear Journey. And so if you want to get a copy of that, you can get that also over at the website also. It's there on Audible, and it's on Amazon, and it's digital over there. So you can get the book, the download, or you can get an Audible. So it's there for you. But the thing that we want to do is give you this for just going over there, because one of the pillars of what we do is dealing with finances and having the right mindset to be able to navigate life with the right attitude for dealing with and managing your finances. Go over there and pick up our ebook, and it's the guide to taking charge of your money. It's budgeting made easy. Go over there, pick it up for free. It's yours. It is yours. Nothing but to say you want it. Oliver, how you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good at this particular time of this recording. I'm coming back from my wife and I speaking at a marriage retreat in the Kansas City area, and man, it was a good time. Had a great time, and we kind of talked about a little bit of it, which will kind of spill into this conversation as well. But coming off the heels of that, man, and getting ready to actually head out to Virginia to speak at a men's conference in a couple of days from this recording as well. So things are good, man. You know, life, in between all of that, life does what life does, but all in all, man, I'm good to answer your question. All is well.
Well, great. I'm glad to see that you're getting some speaking engagements and getting out there and letting people hear your voice, because it needs to be heard. And we are encouraging all that have not heard it to, by all means, keep up with him. He will let you know a little bit more about what he's doing and what he's done at the end here. But right now, we're going to take this opportunity, and it's not going to be a long recording because we got time limitations, but it's not going to be long. But we thought it's going to be a good opportunity for us to share something that we've dibbled and dabbled and touched around for many years. And tonight the episode is going to be like the view of religion and denominations, and the impact and how those things. I know myself, my book is based out of my journey through religion or through various denominations. And at the end of the day, it was the thing about it was like, what is it that we're accomplishing? What are we trying to accomplish in this journey about life with life? And a lot of us get our directions and our guidance through either some type of religion or denomination of religion. And as a result, how does that perspective, how does people view religion and denomination from generation to generation? You know, how does that impact, or that view of generational change impact that guidance that we've been accustomed to or have been introduced to in our lives? And after, having such a great conference, and I know yours was specifically having to do with marriage and enrichment like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's a foundational, fundamental of any family, which we at Clear Journey basically are talking about, is how we navigate ourselves, our family, our communities. Tell us how your experience and what that's been all about as it relates to a life journey in a particular or specific, if you want to go, denomination of religion.
Yeah. So for me, just to give context, so I was born and raised in the Seventh-day Adventist denomination, right? And so for those who may not be familiar with that denomination, I won't give an entire history lesson, but that denomination was formed, I want to say, had to be like 1844-ish, 1845-ish, around that time. There was something with the Christian, in the Christian community at that time. Some of the leaders in the Christian community at that time predicted that Jesus would return for the second coming in 1844.
Now, this is just to be perspective. This is pre slavery. I mean, this is while slavery is still going on.
Slavery is still going on, and this is before Seventh-day Adventists ever even existed. This is just the religious leaders of that day.
Oh, okay.
Predicted that in 1844, I want to say it was like October 20 something, like they had an exact date, that Jesus was going to return. So as it was coming up to that date, people are getting ready. They selling their property. They giving away all their stuff because they like, man, we about to go to heaven, right? Of course, obviously, October 22, 1844 comes and goes, and nothing happens. So you can imagine church folk are up in arms about this because they were lied to. That, what they've dubbed the Great Disappointment, that's the name they gave for it, the Great Disappointment. That led to people saying, you know what, I'm going to go start my own thing. Because this right here, I don't have no house now because I sold it to somebody else. I don't have no, just crazy stuff. So that began kind of a denominational movement, if you will, which one of those denominations that was birthed out of those, some people saying, you know what, we're going to study and do our own thing and try to figure this thing out on our own. And one of those was the Adventist faith. And so that's how it started. That's a real quick.
Gotcha.
It's got a lot of patches in it, but that's just a quick and dirty, thing. So fast forward now. Yes, that's I grew up in that faith. That faith has been known for a lot of things over the years. It was very ultra conservative. It had a very ultra conservative front facing ideology, which has kind of done the ebbs and flows thing over the years to now. I won't say it's liberal, but I will say now there's a wider school of thought as opposed to when my parents were in it. There are certain things that were just like stamped, this is of the devil and these are sins, you know what I'm saying, that don't have that stamp anymore for one reason or another. But I think for me, being able to kind of grow up through all of that has kind of just showed me that for many denominations, our focus was so, I think the focus is to just have this thing that's not like everybody else. to the point where the main thing kind of gets edged out. Because if we're looking at Christianity, like the main thing is to be a follower of Christ. So if we're edging out being a follower of Christ so that we can fuss about what you wore to church today, like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? And that's kind of some of the things that we saw. And I can't speak for all denominations, but I know for me, what I saw is that there became this very stringent focus on things that, in my mind, even growing up as a kid and a teenager, was like, man, I don't feel like this has any salvific value at all. Like, why are all these adults like arguing about this? This don't make no sense to me. Like, tell me something about Jesus. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I can tell you that your experiences was not a unique or different or unique to you and your denomination.
Okay.
I myself have been in Baptist, Catholic, Methodist,
okay,
non-denominational.
So you did Protestant and Catholic. So
you've
been both sides of the fence.
Oh yeah. Look,
I know that's interesting. Being
yeah, but here's the thing. That same thing that you talked about as it relates to the main thing not being the main thing, it was consistent in all of them.
Wow.
It was consistent in all of them.
Wow.
Now, they just demonstrated, they just had a different emphasis, but the main thing was never the main thing. Never. And I give you an example of my Catholicism experience. I was an altar boy, was not a member of the church. Now, if you know anything about altar boys, they're on the pulpit with the priest. They serve communion. They hold the elements. I never got confirmed.
Really? How'd you pull that off?
I went to Catholic school. I paid for it.
Got you. Okay.
I mean, and that didn't come out my part, but my parents paid me to go to Catholic school. They needed altar boys. Guess where they got their altar boys from?
From the school. Yep.
From the school. I speak it as it is. It is what it is.
Hey, yeah.
But the point of the matter is that what's the main thing? And so then I go there, and then that was after, and I was what, 12, 13? No, I was 11 or 10 or 11. Previous to that, I was Baptist.
Okay.
And then I moved and went back to Baptist. And I'm talking about Southern Baptist.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, because there's a difference.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a difference.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And so it's about the main thing being the main thing. And for some reason, every one of them has a different twist on how they present themselves externally. Like you said, that face front and forward thing. And guess what? That's what attracts and draws.
Yeah. Or deters, depending on
or deters, but basically it's that type of thing. And so as a result, you find yourself wondering, like, what are people really looking at, or what do they see as it relates to religion and denominations? How do we present ourselves impact the way in which people see those entities?
Let me ask you this. Do you keep up with the progression, the growth trajectory of the denominations you've been in?
Not as much as I used to.
Okay.
It was interesting, to be honest with you. One of the people that I followed was Carlton Pearson. He died not too long ago. And I was unaware of the things that his denomination had put him through, because he was a holiness. He came from the holiness side.
Right.
And I had pulled away from denominational religion type of things.
Mm-hmm.
And over that period of time, he was like, they were like excommunicated him because he made a statement that was, they just wasn't going, it just wasn't going to float.
Yeah.
And that statement was, everybody goes to heaven.
Mm.
That ain't the statement that goes over well in Christian denomination.
Yeah.
That just ain't gonna go over well. And so he was actually kicked out of his denomination,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a bishop
Mm-hmm.
because he was like, "Oh, you talking blasphemy."
Mm-hmm.
Because if you right, that means all of us wrong.
Right. Right. And we can't all be wrong.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely
Right.
not. So we can't co-sign this.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of thinking and looking at it and really putting things together and go like, well, what's the main thing here?
Mm-hmm.
What's the main thing?
Yeah. And the reason why I asked you that is because, and I can only speak for Seventh-day Adventists, but it feels like, and I was literally just having the same day we're recording this, I was literally having a conversation earlier today with somebody else about this. It feels like, from my vantage point, that there's starting to be a shift back to the main thing within the last, I'd say, 10 years. And it's interesting because whenever there's any level of shift that looks different from the front facing piece, you're going to deal with some backlash on the ground level. The ground level being the congregational level, right? I can think of my own experience with pastoral leadership coming in, making a plethora of very significant changes, and as a result, losing a significant amount of people. And not necessarily because he was trying to change back to the main thing, but just because in progression with certain denominations, progression is sometimes looked at as rebellion. And especially if the progression doesn't include some of the foundational, and for those who are listening, I'm doing that in air quotes, some of the foundational things that the older generational constituency feels like should be included, right? So you end up, having this, this parting of the ways over certain issues. And I was just wondering if you're seeing that in Baptists and in some of the other spots.
Oh, again, tradition holds a very strong hold on denominational. I don't care what denomination is strong. I mean, tradition is like trump card.
Yeah.
It's a trump card. And so I think it should, I mean, it's a very interesting wording that you use when you said progression. Did you use progression?
Yeah, progression. Yeah.
Progression and growth is looked upon a little bit different.
Yeah, and they're probably, now that you say those two words, they're not synonymous often either.
No. Yeah. And so if we're looking at growth implies that it takes you from one place to the next. And it doesn't diminish the previous. Progression, on the other hand, has a perception that it's taking you somewhere differently.
Yeah, out with the old and with the new. Yeah.
It's taking you somewhere different. Instead of growth is something that you're building on, and that doesn't discredit the past,
Yeah.
but it's saying that we are advancing, we are evolving out of that soil
Yeah.
that was laid.
And I think that's where a lot of the issues come into play, is because some of the younger generational pastors are more of an out with the old, in with the new, as opposed to let's build on what we have for the sake of the main thing. Not,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. It's not,
But see,
like,
in that process, what happens is that it's a very delicate thing, because when things are being when growth occurs,
mhm,
sometimes you realize that some things you got to pick out of what out of the
mhm.
ground so that you can protect the main thing.
Right. Right.
You got to pick it out,
Mhm,
and it's that picking out that little bit of a rock that see, this
mhm,
might not have just been what we should been doing.
mhm.
Let's make it. Was this really the main thing,
Yeah.
or was that just a little bit of you adding a little sauce to
Mhm.
the thing,
Right. Right.
and then we built on it, and then all of a sudden that becomes tradition
Mm,
rather than the main thing.
yeah. And let me say this for those that are watching or listening. I guess I should have said this in the beginning. It's not a denominational bash session. Just, that's not what we're doing. But sometimes we don't take time to really look at the overall impact of how we do things from a denominational perspective, because often, and I can only speak from I'll speak from my vantage point. There are moments where of discovery where people are like, man, we're really kind of navigating this like it's some level of country club, and that's not the main thing, right? And so it's not about bashing, but it's about just kind of looking at what's the overall impact that we're having, and evaluating that against the impact. Is this the impact that we desired? You know what I mean? Or is this the impact that should be, right? So just wanted to throw that out there, because I don't want anybody to feel like,
That's
we,
$100,000 question though.
yeah.
And I think over time it becomes more difficult to identify
Mhm.
whether or not it's really the main thing or not,
Yeah.
that we're defending, or we're trying to maneuver.
Yeah, and but here's the thing though. Sometimes if you really take the time to kind of look at the statistics, which I don't have in front of me, so I can't quote anything specifically. But again, from my vantage point, looking at Adventism, I know there was a period of time where we were looking at stats, and it was saying that there was a certain segment of the population, the 20 somethings and the early 30 somethings, that were just kind of leaving this thing in droves. And what's happening there? Like, where's the level of disconnect that they feel? What's causing that? Like, really taking some time to kind of dig into the impact, which is what we're saying. Like, what is the impact that you're having on this group of people that causes them to feel like they don't need to be a part of this entity? They don't need to be a part of this community, right? For one reason or another. And so I think it's really important to look at those kinds of things, because then it helps you evaluate, okay, here's what the mission really was. Is that what we're living out right now?
I.e., bringing up my book Love Made Simple
Mm-hmm.
was really out of that awareness
Mm-hmm.
that really began to say, because those numbers was like 15%, and I can't they're in the book. There was a percentage that don't even believe,
Mm-hmm.
and don't want to be a part of any type of church or religion.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is that um, we have to realize that the younger generation, and it's that younger generation that we're referring to, that
Mm-hmm.
are pulling back from this concept, or this directions that we're talking about. um, they're not buying it,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason for it, I believe, as I stated, is that this is love needs to be acted, need to be demonstrated.
Mm-hmm.
And when we show hypocrisy or contradictions
Mm-hmm.
between what one say and what one acts,
Mm-hmm.
there creates this confusion
Right.
that draws people, and I'll leave that alone. Because one thing that we're looking for is clarity,
Mm-hmm.
directions in life.
Yeah.
And so this particular um, perspective, how does it impact? A lot of people are looking at it and going, hmm, is that really what I'm wanting to be? And let's be clear, it's about being guided, being a guide for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to be willing to allow somebody to lead you.
Yeah, sure.
You've got to be willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we look at the things and we see things that you are familiar with Pastor Bryant.
Mm-hmm. I am.
He came from Baltimore. Now he's in Atlanta, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He's gotten so much criticism for being progressive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the space of denominations, I think if we keep in context what it is, the main thing,
Mm-hmm.
um, or let me say this: if you operate under the compass or the premise of what the main thing is, because here's the point: you will demonstrate what the main thing is.
Yeah.
You will demonstrate what the
Right.
main thing is.
You're right. You're right.
And so if we understand the fact that being inclusive, if inclusive is the main thing,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's addressing that. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily think that inclusiveness
Mm-hmm.
is the main thing.
And that kind of goes back to some level of traditionalism, right? Because you have now individuals that now that question becomes, okay, as it relates to the LGBTQ community, as it relates to other entities, like how do we integrate that? And you have people who are like, integration is a no-go. But then if we're talking about living like Christ sat down with publicans and sinners and had dinner. So there's some level of equity and inclusion that happened there. So how, if it's right there, how is it? You know what I mean? And so it's those kinds of conversations that kind of get spun up, from time to time. There's a friend of mine I went to school with is a pastor, and um, just for some context around Adventism. So Adventist churches in a particular region all fall under a certain conference. So, for example, I live in Maryland. Um, there are 3 conferences that are represented in the Maryland area. My particular church falls under the Allegheny East Conference. So there's a buddy of mine that's up in Rhode Island. He has a church, and he has elected for that church not to be necessarily up under a conference. So he's independent. Let's call it that. That's not necessarily what he might say, but let's call it that for the sake of understanding. He, as it relates to the uh, living out the goal of Christ in terms of bringing everybody in, by beholding you become changed, but we're gonna love on you, we're gonna feed you, we're gonna give you, like, that's his mentality. So his congregation looks very different from others, if you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they absolutely love this guy and will probably do whatever he tells them to do because he's leading with love. And he made it very clear. My wife and I had the privilege of going out there to speak last year. And man, we had the greatest time, bro. I mean, they love this man. I mean, love this man because he led with love with them.
It's what draws us to one another.
Mm-hmm.
See, we could have this conversation over and over again, but we're never going to be able to avoid that word that you just said, and that's the baseline of what Clear Journey is about. Mm-hmm. It's about a love mindset.
Yeah.
And to be able to demonstrate that, he put it into action.
Yeah.
He demonstrated it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the main thing is the main thing.
Yeah. And I think sometimes with churches too, and I can't speak for everyone. So for those of you in other denominations, I can't speak for everyone. But often what I see is that the apprehension around giving out that measure of love is that measure of love is devoid of accountability, and that's not true.
That would be interesting to talk on. How is that? How is that perceived as being void of accountability?
So let me put it in different words, right? So there's a school of thought. Now let's put it that way. That okay, let's take this gentleman for example. Everybody's welcome. All choices, all lifestyles, right? Mm-hmm. Sit under that same roof every week. There's some people who are like, well, you can't include certain individuals because if you bring them in and you surround them with love, then you're going to make them feel like what they're doing is okay. That's an actual argument.
No, and I get it.
I'm saying I'm not saying I agree with that, but I'm just saying that's an argument. That's what I mean when I say some people feel like, well, you can't lead with that level of love because now you take away their accountability, but you don't. I think from what I view with this guy in particular, it is doing the exact opposite. They actually want to hear from him, and they want some level of guidance from him, and they want some level of direction from him. They want Bible studies from this guy because of how he approached them. They're like, I want to know the God that you're talking about, because if he's making you act like that with me, we need to stay in contact.
And again, for a person to be able to be that type of leader, mm-hmm. because again, that's what the pastors are. They're examples. Mm-hmm. He has the responsibility to be able to now there's no difference in how leadership presents itself, or the word should allow conviction. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he doesn't have to go to you and tell you acting up, you messing up. Mm-hmm. The concepts speak through the spirit that you get what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. I don't have to come point a finger at you and call you out.
Right.
I can just be authentic in teaching love, mm-hmm. and understanding the purpose and the intent and how it works, how this thing works.
Right.
And so now it's up to you now to be convicted, mm-hmm. to be able to say, okay, I either accept, but see, my character is going to be the thing that's going to be in front of this.
Right. And that's for anything. Just for those of you who are listening, I use LGBTQ as an example because that's an extreme example, but that's for anything.
Absolutely. And that's the power of love. Mm-hmm. Is that it cuts off and it allows you to eliminate those, well, what if, why is it, how can, mm-hmm. because we don't deal with all of that.
Yeah.
It deals with, this is how it acts. You are drawn to the act, and now let it convict.
Right. And so if we're talking about keeping the main thing, right? The Bible says that uh, the Spirit will guide you into all truth, right? I think the mistake that we've made is that we want to work in place of the Spirit. So we want to guide people into all truth. That ain't our that's not what it said. That ain't our job. Right. And I think once we make that our job, then we start trying to get people to align themselves with our ideology, not the ideology.
All you do is demonstrate.
Mm-hmm.
All you do is be authentically true to your to what it is that you are presenting, and not to point your finger.
Yeah.
You really don't. I don't talk. It doesn't matter to anybody in any situation. If you getting called out, something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And I am seeing a shift. You know, again, this is not about bashing denominations. It's really just kind of looking at the trajectory. I'm seeing a shift, right? Because there's so many things that we say that have just become clichéic, but we don't really live them out. And one of those is they won't know, they won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I've heard that since I was a kid. I'm just now in the last, let's call it 10 years, actually seeing that being played out, where we're actually going into the community and we're creating things for the community and we're invested in the interests of the community and we're listening to, like, that wasn't happening when I was a kid. If we went out into the community when I was a kid, we were trying to force feed them something.
They call it, and that was their way of outreach.
That was outreach, and that was witnessing, right?
Yeah.
We wasn't listening to nobody. We was like, we need you to listen to me, right? And now we're kind of seeing, you know, I'm kind of seeing a shift in that. And so if we can, you know, really get these denominations to really just reevaluate and just kind of look at, hey, what was the mission? What is this designed for? What's the underlying reasoning for our existence in Christendom, not just this denomination? We might see the impact shift as well.
I think that is a good start to being able to bring unity in this place that has so much influence over the lives of so many.
And here's the last thing I'll say, and this is it's a shameless plug, but I really mean this. The other thing that I'm starting to see now, and trust me, it's in pockets, but I'm seeing it, is that we're starting to recognize that the lifeblood of the congregation and the strength of the congregation is only as good as the lifeblood and the strength of its relationships. And when the family splintered, when the marriage is awry, you can count on the disorganization and dismantlement of the congregation. And so what I got to shout out my pastor, Dr. Noah Washington. When he hit the ground at that church, he hit the ground with an immediate, urgent desire to flush out what the needs are: mental health, marriage, parenting, singles. Allowed us to survey the congregation to identify the needs, and is systematically putting some things in place. So I got to shout this guy out, because that is not something that you see. And again, I'm talking about my denomination.
Yeah.
You don't see that often. And I told you this before I went on. We came on camera. The retreat that we went to was put on by a conference out in the Midwest. And it's the first time that I have spoken for a retreat sponsored for this by this denomination where leadership was present. So if we can duplicate that in all these other spaces, we will see the impact be different.
Well, and that's our hope. It's our hope because it's such an influential entity in this journey called life.
Yeah.
And many of us have aligned ourselves to it without the clarity to navigate. And so hopefully this has been a just a dab attached, because I tell you, my story and everything that I'm building here, or we're building here, is based on clarity. It's about being clear so that we can navigate.
Yeah.
And it's through this understanding of the power of love and how it unifies, connects us, and brings us together, no matter what denomination we're in.
Yeah.
And whatever religion we're in.
Yeah, because we didn't even go broad religions. That's true. Yeah.
So let's be clear. The power of love is meant and connected to all of us.
Yeah.
Every one of us. And it's we who divide us, not love. So
there you have it.
That being said, we're gonna have look. You're gonna get it out of me one way or another. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah, we trust me. We gotta flush this out in some. So,
but hey, y'all, this was just a little bit of a taste of just demonstrating love and the practical application of it, because it's all about influence. It's about how, and when we talk about mindset, we're talking about taking on the mindset of love in every area of your life. And where do you learn that? Where do you get that from? And in many cases, we find ourselves aligning ourselves with tradition instead of love. And we need to be conscious of that and be aware of that, because that's going to guide us. It's going to guide us. So let's just be conscious of what we are allowing ourselves to be influenced with and by, and then and be conscious of it so that we can, because we're not only did we see, people are looking at us.
There you go. That part. There you go.
And we want to put love into action, not any other thing that draws away from it.
Yeah.
So, Oliver, let people know how they can get in touch with you.
Listen, if you are a social media person, social media handle is right there, Denali LLC, everywhere on social media. I'm an author, speaker, and coach in the relationship building and men's enrichment spaces, author of the book, Overcoming the Man Laws, for the man who wants to be his best despite what he was taught. And so if you are looking to empower the relationships that are under your purview, if you're looking to encourage and enrich relationships, both personally and professionally, and or to have the men under your care win at every area of life, you can definitely reach out to me. I would love to have a conversation. You can also email me at the email on your screen.
Hey, reach out to him. Oliver is a strategic partner of Clear Journey, and we want to support him as he navigates his journey of speaking and teaching and sharing his profession, his expertise in relationship building. That being said, hey, all I can say is we got a new website. I want people to go over there and check it out. It is really there for you. We have a new look. We will be again seeing a lot more of that in the future. But we are excited about it. And if it's anything that we can do for you, you can reach us at info@clearjourney.org. And we're here to help and support you. So as we say all the time, we can't change life, but we can surely help you navigate it. So until next time, we'll see you then.
Later.